pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Bill Carlos, second ward.
Joe Conti, third ward.
Michael Safone, fourth ward.
Joe Lepore, fifth ward.
Ann Shershen, 6th Ward.
Todd Tancredi, supervisor.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
Okay, we have one public hearing on the agenda tonight, but with the board's permission, I'd like to move to agenda item number 2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Tonight's a special night in the history of the town of Poughkeepsie. Tonight, we're going to officially appoint a new chief of police. Our current chief, Tom Morrow, is retiring after 39 years of service to the town. So, as I said, it's an exciting night and a special night. So, we'll move right on to item number 1. Bill?
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby provisionally appoint Captain Ron Spiro as Police Chief, effective May 30th, 2015, pending the next promotional civil service exam ordered by Dutchess County Department of Human Resources at an annual salary of $133,615. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
It was a, I know we all sat in through it, and we had 4 applicants that I think any one of them would do a fine job. It was a hard decision made, but I know we picked the right guy. And I want to thank all of the applicants that came in.
Yep, I agree 100%. We have a great department full of quality individuals, and I just want to add, because I know there's a number of officers in the audience tonight, but with some of the events that have been taking place in the nation over the last number of months, it seems like there's a fine line between chaos and control and just outlandish behavior and civilized behavior. And I know personally the fine line is a blue line. So I want to personally thank the captain, 2 captains, the chief, plus all the patrol officers, all the officers that are here today for the job you do day in and day out for the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department. We have a great department, as Councilman Conti said. Whenever we have promotions and things of that nature, it's a hard decision here in the Town of Poughkeepsie because we have so many great people working for us. So I just want to encourage you to continue to do the outstanding job you do. You treat people with respect and dignity, and you get the job done. So we appreciate all you do. Anybody else? So we have a motion and a second on the resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Congratulations. And while you're all standing, I've got a proclamation I'd like to read. Chief, if you... Yes. I know. I have a right to it. Just like that. I'd like to ask the chief, come up here with me.
I don't know.
See if you're getting fired.
Huh? Use this one. Chief asked me not to do anything special tonight, and I certainly don't want to take away from Ron's special night, but I talked to him previously, and he was completely in favor of it. But tonight is technically Chief Morrow's last town board meeting, and he typically sits in the back. I'm not sure if he has his eyes open or closed, but he's far enough back that we can't see. But it makes us feel good that he's here, and he's always here to answer any questions we have. So I have a proclamation from the town board that I'd like to read to you, Chief.
Please do.
And it says, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, on behalf of all residents and employees of the Town of Poughkeepsie, does hereby salute Thomas Morrow on his retirement. And whereas Thomas Morrow began his career on August 25th, 1976 as a police officer with the Town of Poughkeepsie and will officially retire as Chief of Police effective May 30th, 2015, after 39 years of commendable service. And whereas these years of service has been marked by exemplary commitment to our community and to the safety of our residents, now therefore be resolved, the Town Board does hereby confer upon Thomas Morrow its highest commendation for the manner in which he has performed his duties with sincere gratitude and appreciation for his professionalism and dedication to the Town of Poughkeepsie. We'll take a
A couple of minutes to.
2-minute recess. Well,
Yeah, 2-minute
the
recess.
room empties.
I'll meet your daughter too.
He's not introducing you. Hey, Gary.
Joe. The Herminator. Who, you called me? You called me? Oh, I thought it's something you just said.
No, you tell me.
What's going on? I just needed something. You need money? What do you need? How much do you need?
Ollie, come on, man. Sit down and enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Why do I gotta sit down?
Enjoy, take part.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey,
I
man.
don't know, I think it was something you said.
No, Joe says something.
Uses it on my lawn.
All right.
Okay.
Now that we have things back to normal with a few people in the audience, it's more relaxing. We will continue. We have, as I said, one public hearing on the agenda tonight. So I'd like to open public hearing number 1, which is amend Town Code ATC drive-through overlay, and this is for the Arlington area, Main Street from Grand to Fairmont, and the arterial from Raymond to Fairmont. Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here to speak to this public hearing? Seeing no one, I make a motion to close public hearing number 1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Joe?
Be it enacted that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie pursuant to a public hearing held on the 20th day of May, 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overrocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend Chapter 210 entitled Zoning, specifically Section 210-22, pertaining to Arlington Town Center, ATC District, adding a new zoning overlay district and regulations entitled Main Street Drive-In Overlay District, MSDOD, and be it further enacted that the amendments are attached hereto and incorporated herein, and the Town Board does hereby waive a verbatim reading of said amendments, and does direct that said amendments be spread across the record as if they had, in fact, been read verbatim, and be it further enacted that the Town Board had previously declared its intent to act as lead agency under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and does declare said action to be an unlisted action. And be it further enacted that the Town Board has reviewed the short-form environmental assessment form, the EAF, prepared by the Director of Municipal Development, and hereby determines, 1, the adoption of the herein zoning amendment would not have a significant adverse effect on the environment, and 2, a draft environmental impact statement will not be required for the reasons set forth in the attached determination of no significance, and 3, a negative declaration is hereby issued. And be it further enacted that a written recommendation dated May 20, 2015 was received from the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development, stating that the proposed amendment was a matter of local concern with comments, and be it further enacted that a written recommendation dated April 17, 17th, 2015, was received from the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board, in which said board recommended adoption of herein amendments, and be it further enacted that the town clerk notified the clerks of the surrounding municipalities of the public hearing pursuant to GML 239NN, and be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on May 1st, 2015, and published in Poughkeepsie Journal on May 4th, 2015, and be it further enacted that said local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Like I say, this makes a lot of sense for that district. I mean, if we're going to have drive-ins, that's drive-throughs, that's where you need it in the Arlington district.
Yeah, and also it's extremely well-written, the town code, that's requiring the businesses to have half-acre lots and have adequate stacking, so they're not going to have a drive-through that ends up flowing out on the street and impacting traffic, and it should have minimum, these aren't high-volume pedestrian streets anyway, so it should have minimum impact on that. And it should help. We've got 2 new businesses coming in that need drive-throughs, and it's really going to help revitalize our Main Street corridor there today.
Do we have names of them, or
Or we can't give them
the businesses coming in, you'd said?
Can we say?
Yeah, we got a few, yeah. I mean, we've got some that have, interested, Walgreens, Popeyes,
Yeah, what is
well,
it?
hopefully many more on Main Street.
Yeah, and what was it? Yeah, Popeyes. Yeah.
For White Castle.
And no White Castle so far, but there's always hope. Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And that brings us to the end of our public hearings. So what I'm going to do is run through the agenda quickly. Typically what we do is we go through the agenda. If anybody has questions on agenda items, we'll take them now. And then at the end of the meeting, you'll have opportunity to comment on town issues. So item number 3 is to proclaim May 27th as Niemann-Pick Disease Awareness Day. 4 is to set a public hearing date for a property maintenance for an unsafe building on Dutchess Turnpike. 5 is to authorize the supervisor to sign a real estate broker contract with CR Properties, and this is something we've discussed for a number of months now. A few properties are available if we had the right taker and the right price. 6 is to appoint two individuals to our Historic Preservation Commission. 7 is to appoint a new planning board member. This is to take Councilman Lepore's spot on the planning board. 8 is to approve the Locust Grove Samuel Morse Historic Site Antique Car Show. 8 is to approve the Joseph McDonald Bill Cruz Memorial Run. 10 is a discussion for no overnight parking in Councilman Siffon's ward on a particular street, which we'll discuss. 11 is to set a public hearing date for property maintenance at a residence at 46 Cottam Hill Road. 12 is to set a public hearing or a discussion. Is it set the public hearing in?
I believe so.
Yes, to set the public hearing.
Okay, for Historic Preservation Code Amendment. 13 is to authorize the supervisor to sign field use agreements with our youth leagues. 14 is to approve a referral of Friendly Honda project that we heard about last week to the planning board for recommendation. 15 is to approve the referral of One Page Park, Texas Roadhouse project to the planning board for recommendation. 16 is to set a public hearing date for, 16 is going to be adjourned until Councilman Baisley's on vacation, and he wanted to be here for that, so we're just going to adjourn that to the first meeting in June. I think it's the second. Third? All right, that'll be adjourned to June 3rd.
Won't be here that day.
Okay. 17 to accept some town board minutes, and then we have 2 special consent items. One is license agreement, development agreements with Springside Neighborhood Development over behind Holy Trinity off the arterial. We've been talking about that for some time, and those are the legal agreements. And 12 is to consent planning board to be lead agency for 1 Easy Street. So is there I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment on agenda items.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, Bob?
I'd just like to ask about number 4. Whereabouts on Dutchess Turnpike is that?
That's Vic's Garage.
Okay. That's
No,
why I was
I figured
thinking
that
that's
you'd know
where it
that
was.
name better, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
On number 13, exactly what are you considering for that?
Those are the field use agreements that have been in place for a number of years, and I don't think there were any significant changes, were there, Jim? Field
No,
use
we just
agreements?
tightened some of the language, but in substance, they continue as they were.
And this is for Town of Poughkeepsie, Little League Girls Softball, Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club, Inc., Poughkeepsie Mid-Hudson Babe Ruth, Inc., and the Town of Poughkeepsie Little League Girls Softball, Inc., the agreements that have been in place for a number of
And
years.
if we're looking to get a copy of those agreements, where would we get those from?
After they're adopted, if you'd be good enough, just as a matter of process, to fill out a FOIL request, I can make sure that you get copies.
Okay, but if we're looking to challenge some of those use agreements at this meeting here tonight?
Well, this would be the time to do it, because we're going to,
Well, pardon me.
oh, I'm sorry.
No.
We're going to approve them tonight, that's the intent of the board, so if there's
All
a,
right, so when it comes up,
okay, no problem. Anybody else? Seeing no one, I make a motion to resume the rules.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mike?
Whereas Niemann-Pick type C disease is a rare neurodegenerative disorder and genetic lysosomal storage disease which causes progressive deterioration of the nervous system. And whereas increased education and research are needed to help find more effective treatments and ultimately a cure for Niemann-Pick type C disease, now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby proclaim May 27, 2015 as the Niemann-Pick type C disease awareness day in the Town of Poughkeepsie, and be it further resolved that an originally signed proclamation be forwarded under the Great Seal of the Town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, State of New York, to the Notre Dame Club of Mid-Hudson Valley. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? This is something Councilman Carlos is,
Newman Pick, some of you may know Notre Dame. It's a school out in the middle
heard of it once or twice.
Notre Dame.
There was a coach there, and his last name was Barsegian, and his grandchildren developed this disease. And the Mid-Hudson Club is hosting a dinner next Wednesday night. I think it's next Wednesday night to honor Coach Barsegian's daughter, and there's a Notre Dame Club of the Mid-Hudson Valley is a very large group of individuals, and they asked me, because my son went to Notre Dame, if I would get a resolution, and I did, and I'd be going to go to the meeting and be very proud to give it to them. It's a fine organization, and they do an awful lot in our community. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas the building department of the town of Poughkeepsie is persuaded to town code 771-5 to submit an unsafe building investigation report dated April 15, 2015. The report to the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie regarding 798-802 Dutchess Turnpike, town of Poughkeepsie, County of Dutchess, State of New York, tax grid number 6262-04-571014, premises, the owner of record being Malabar Realty LLC, 96 Oregon Road, Cortland Manor, New York, 10507, showing among other things that the building on the premises, the building and the premises is structurally unstable, dangerous and unsafe to the general public, accessible to and having for vagrants, trespassers, minor children, is a collector of unsanitary water, is eroding within and onto the town right-of-way, and presents a fire and public health hazard on violation of the Town Code, Chapter 71, now therefore. Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby waive the verbatim reading to the report, does hereby adopt said report and the findings in it, the directs and to be spread across the record as if they, in fact, have been read verbatim and Be further resolved, the notice shall be given to the public hearing on the report. In the ensuance of the order, make the premises and the building safe and secure, and to the recovery. Levy and collection of the town expenses as an voluntary liability will be held before the town board on June 3rd, 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Overlook Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. And whereas addition to the orders to remedy, copies of which are attached, yet have been issued to the premises pursuant to Chapter 159 to the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code. Whereas said orders to remedy have not been complied with, no therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 3rd day of June 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, public hearing is considered a recommendation from the building administrator that the town or its contractor should continue the cure of Chapter 159 violations at the premises. The cost which will work shall continue a lien in charge of the above real property until paid, satisfied, or discharged, and shall be collected by the same manner other town charges. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Unfortunately, this is a business that had been here in the Third Ward for a lot of years, and it was always a precarious corner, if you know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
almost right across from that diner. And we thought we were gonna get a little better tenant coming in there. Work got done, then work stalled. I've heard some residents about the issues. I'm glad, I wanna thank Wayne and Tim for both acting on this. Unfortunately, this is the move we have to make. I don't wanna see, nothing become of the property, but even if we go to demolish it, it's gonna look better than it does now. Large hole in the front. Everything that he says in this, I'm afraid to actually agree. Well, I'm not afraid to, but it's unfortunate that it's true. We do need to make actions on this, so I support it, as I hope all you do.
Yeah, because it looks like they dug out their gas tank
The tanks, they had to remove
pumps,
those,
so I thought
and they left it.
Oh, really? I thought they were in
Standing
the
water right
process of turning it
No, they are
over.
in the process, but it's been a very long process and
Yeah.
need to make sure we do something, I think. as
Got standing
Councilman-
water in there, you know the danger
Yeah.
of that. I mean, God forbid it.
Safety hazard.
Go in there.
Well, I didn't know we got it fenced off, but yeah, we have to move on this fast.
Right, and we're working on trying to beautify Poughkeepsie, and hopefully there'll be a message that we're serious about it, we want
Yes.
it done right.
I agree. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor, in consultation with the attorney to the town, to execute a listing contract for commercial broker to CR Properties Group LLC. The proposed offer, the terms whose favorable to the town at the commission rate of CR Lease Commission 5%, Co-broker lease commission 6%, CR sale commission 6%, co-broker sale commission 6%. So moved.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. All right, number 6, be resolved that the Town Board of Town Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Christine Agro to the current vacant position on the Historic Preservation Commission, which appointment expires on December 31st, 2019. So moved?
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, this was a nice thing. I know Ann helped too. It was, this gal actually wrote and showed interest in wanting to be on the Historic Preservation Committee. So it was I think I had sent all of you the resume from her, and they didn't hear anything negative back, so we went forward with this, and we welcome her.
Yeah, actually, she and her husband own one of the designated landmark houses in our town. And what's nice about them is they recently put an addition on and actually went through the process of coming before the Historic Preservation Commission and gain the necessary approvals to have this addition put on. So this way, it eases other people's minds that, even though you buy a historic house and you want to do some work on it, that the process is in place that we can help you and get the work to move forward so you can keep the house and keep it looking nice. And matter of fact, they did a lovely job on their addition. You can hardly even tell it's been added
Beautiful.
onto.
The
It's
whole-
very
The
impressive.
property is beautiful. It's up near the old Frank Brothers Farms. I'm sure you'll see it as you pass 44.
Yeah. So yeah, we're thrilled to have her join the commission, and she
Great.
actually came to us, so it was
Eager,
great.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Bill? Oh, you want me to read B? I'll read B. All right, 6B. Be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint David W. Dangle to the unexpired term of Sophia Say on the Historic Preservation Commission through October 19th, 2016. So moved.
Second?
Motion is second. Any discussion?
It's actually April 19th, just
Pardon me? Oh, what'd I say?
October, but that's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
April,
Sorry.
October, they're very
April
close.
19th,
Both of us.
2016.
And
Yeah.
Same thing, Third Ward candidates reached out to me to get on the board, and then I wanted to make sure that we weren't overfilling from the Third Ward.
No.
There was no fill, so it worked out fine.
No, the thing about the Historic Preservation Commission is you have to get people who are interested. And while we try to attract people from each wards, it doesn't always work out that way. So yeah, you're blessed. You've got two of them now.
And it was
So,
within a
yeah.
couple of days, they were both applying for it, which is great, and we thank everybody, and
And
it's wonderful. Glad to
David
have 'em.
Dangle is a wonderful candidate. He's been on the Dutchess County Historic Preservation Commission for years, and he was like their secretary for like 20 years. So anybody with that amount of patience is amazing. And he knows all the players. He's very involved with the history of the area. He understands the history of the area, so he's a wonderful addition. Also, as for Sophia, we're very sorry. She had a serious illness, and she just could not continue on. So we're sorry for her loss, but we're glad Dave's coming on board.
is this the same Dave Dangle that got an award with Tom Mahar a couple of years ago? Man of the Year?
Yeah,
That could be.
I believe so.
I think so.
No, very nice, son. I've met him, so
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Rocco Romeo to fill the unexpired term of Joseph Lepore on the Planning Board through December 31st, 2016. So moved.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. We
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the request submitted by Locust Grove, the Samuel Morse Historic Site, to hold an antique car show on Sunday, July 12th, 2015, on the site at Locust Grove, 2683 South Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. And be it further resolved that a certificate of liability insurance naming the Town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured has been filed with the Town Clerk's office. So moved.
Second?
motion and a second. Any discussion?
I go to that car show every year. And if
Aye.
you have any interest in antique cars, to see them in the drive at the Morris Estate, I mean, it's the perfect place for that kind of car show. Great people, a great time. It's worth your drive down to South Road to see that car show.
And even if you don't, you just drive by Route 9, you can see them in the parking lot for free, but keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the road.
All right, we have motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie, has heretofore received an application from John M. Carge on behalf of Mid-Hudson Roadrunners Club to hold the 38th Annual Joseph McDonald Bill Cruising Memorial Run to be held on Saturday, May 30th, 2015. Be it further resolved that a certificate of liability insurance naming the Town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insured has been filed with the Town Clerk of the Town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to say that the route has been changed for the first time this year because of the bridge that they're going to be working on the county. And I got a phone call from Todd Jicka, and they had to reroute their run a little bit for this year and next.
Okay.
So I just kind of wanted to mention.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Number 10 is a discussion brought forward by Councilman Safone about some parking restrictions on Hawk Lane, Eagle Lane, Hawkins Street, Inwood Avenue, Lyford Lane, and Waldorf Place.
And Woodlawn.
Lawn as well.
And Woodlawn, okay.
Yep.
We've had a number of residents over the last couple of years come into Town Hall. We've had meetings here. We have a lot of college houses and parking on the streets, and it's taking up a lot of the residential neighborhood streets. So some of the residents went out, and they actually collected this survey. And we've got quite a few signatures in favor of restricting the parking to similar to what we have now for the winter months. And, I wanted to, if there are residents that are here that did want to speak on it, but I talked to Sergeant Jinka, and as long as he has no problem with it, as long as residents know that it's in effect, it could be in effect year-round, and it's going to be in effect. So we can certainly do it. And, like I said, we've got the residents that signed the petition on most of the streets, so
You can have signs put up, Mike, and all the
Yeah,
appropriate.
we would do the proper signage and let them know that the winter stays in effect in winter times. So that's basically, we put midnight to 5 on this, but I think it's actually midnight to 7.
Yeah.
So I might be mistaken. on
Yeah,
that.
are we going to have it, my only question would, should we have it match the snow ordinance so the
Well,
time
it
is
would go with the
standard?
snow ordinance, that's
Okay.
midnight to midnight.
All right, good.
So it really wouldn't be a big change for us, and maybe just
No.
having a couple little signs on a couple of the streets. But I think we have a couple residents here that want to speak on it. I know I see,
Well, I used to live on Kelsey Road before I moved up into Ireland Drive. And I do, unfortunately, that was one of the issues that I faced on that road too, so I appreciate your action.
well, there's quite a bit of parking, it is blocking the road.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I've had them outside.
If you have a kid up there and they're playing, you gotta really worry about coming out in front of a car over there.
Mr. Gorman, how are
Good
you?
afternoon, good evening.
evening.
Bob Gorman, 15 Hawkins Street. I started the petition last summer, late last summer, and needed some help from various residents to finish it throughout the winter months, so I was extremely busy. But this is something where prior to this, we met with Todd numerous times, and there was a lot of issues with oversized vehicles, multiple cars, friends of residents that were sitting there. So sometimes you'd see 6, 7, 8 cars out there in the street, and it's just a cluttered mess. We don't mind, people gathering to have their parties, but come 12 o'clock, like the snow ordinance, if the streets were cleared, we think that would be a good equalizer to resolve this problem and just, maintain our residential community.
Thank you.
There's a few others that have passed the petition, probably would want to say a few words also.
Sure, is there anybody else who'd like to speak to the board? Come on up.
Hi,
Good evening.
my name's Alex Ahmed. I live at 9 Hawkins Street. Yeah, it used to be a really nice family community that we turned into, and, then unfortunately, a bunch of the houses have turned into Maris Rentals. And the driving up and down our street has just gotten out of hand. It's, there's a lot of cars, a lot of kids going fast, through a neighborhood. And, at any given time, there's at least 6 or 7 cars up and down the street. Even during this no ordinance, there's kids that leave notes on their cars at night saying, please don't give us a ticket. That, I think needs to be addressed also.
Yeah, well, if
But,
that, when that, I think absolutely, my feeling is, and I'm sure the police officers will tell you the same thing, if that does happen, they need to be ticketed, they will be, assuming someone's there at the appropriate time, but, next winter, obviously,
Yeah.
let us know, but yeah, that's,
No, I think it
Not
would just really,
appropriate.
make our area just a much nicer area to live in if we didn't have
Okay.
all these cars parked on the streets at night.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Alex.
Anybody else? All right, what we'll do is, we'll schedule a public hearing, probably, Jim, you think for the first meeting in June?
I'm not gonna be.
Oh, Councilman Safon won't be here,
To put
so,
it on, and then
okay.
have it at the
So we
next
can
one.
vote to put it on then,
Okay.
and have it on the third meeting
Okay.
in June,
The second June meeting.
okay?
Perfect.
Do we want to vote now to put it on, or do we have to have a,
It was just a discussion.
It was just a
We
discussion.
need a resolution.
all right.
11.
All right, thank you.
You want me to-
Mike, 11?
Can we do 11? I'll do 11. Whereas an order of remedy, a copy of which is attached here too, has been issued for property located at 46 Cotton Hill Road, Cottam Hill Road, Town of Poughkeepsie, State of New York, pursuant to Chapter 159, Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code. And whereas an order of remedy has not been complied with, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby set the 17th day of June, 2015, at 7 p.m. at Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider a recommendation from the zoning administrator that the town or its contractor remove and, as needed, continue to remove all garden waste, fallen tree limbs, cut and continue to cut the grass to a height not to exceed 6 inches, and maintain throughout the growing season so as not to become overgrown and unsightly, the cost of which work shall constitute a lien and charge on the above real property until paid, satisfied, or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner as other town charges. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion?
I don't know if this, I know this area gets very tight here. On the resolution, it states that it is in the town of Poughkeepsie. On the order to remedy, it says it's in Wappingers Falls.
Probably in the village.
Just, I know, yeah, like I said, is this Baisley's?
Yes.
I think it's the mailing address.
Is that an issue, though, Jim? That's my point.
Well, if the mailing address is Cottam Hill, given the fact that it's got a tax grid number.
Yep.
To take it back to physically where it's located.
Yep.
I think it's okay, but I'll check.
Cottam Hill is in Wappingers, that's the mailing address.
Yeah, it's.
That is okay.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And just to go back to number 10 for 1 minute, the petitions on the overnight parking will, at this point, watch our website, but we'll schedule a public hearing for the third Wednesday in June. The first Wednesday, we will schedule the public hearing. We'll actually hold it the third Wednesday in June, so especially those of you who are in favor of this, it would be a bad idea to come out and support it just in case it's necessary. All right?
Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the third day of June 2015 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rock Road, Poughkeepsie, as for the time and date and place of a public hearing of amend the Town Code, Chapter 126, entitled Historical Preservation, specifically 127-7, and by further resolved that the proposed amendments are attached to incorporate hearing at the Town Board does hereby waive averbium regarding and say amendments. It does direct the say amendments be spread across the record as if they, in fact, have been read verbatim, and those words underlined to be added to the words stricken to be deleted. Be further resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby determine that this action is a Type 2 action involving the ongoing administration of the town and requires no environmental review, and be further resolved that the local law, if adopted, shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, the Historic Preservation Commission with Jim Nelson's help, we went through the code to try to clarify it, maybe simplify it a bit, and also take out that the code required that there be 2 rounds of certified mail mailings. And I'm sure when this was written, that cost under $1 each. They're up to $6.50 each. And they required the mailing go to all the property owners within 300 feet of the border of whatever property you're designating. So for instance, we have one coming up here shortly that we'd like to do, which is the Juliet sign in Arlington. And when you look that up, it's like 30 properties. So, I mean, you're talking $180 times 2 just to notify the neighbors that, you know, this is coming up. It's ridiculous. So we've reduced it just to a regular mailing to just let them know that it's the resolution is coming up and that there'll be a public hearing.
Good. All right. Anything else? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute field license agreements between the Town of Poughkeepsie and the Town of Poughkeepsie Little Leagues Girls Softball, Inc., Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club, Inc., Poughkeepsie Mid-Hudson Babe Ruth, Inc., and the Town of Poughkeepsie Little League Girls Softball, Inc., in substantially the form presented, and be further resolved that executing this agreement involves ongoing town administration and is a Type 2 action requiring no seeker review. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I think there was one resident who wished to speak to the board concerning this. Just make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, Board. My name is Jim Ryan. I am a 15-year soccer coach at the Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club. I believe I'm the highest non-paid certified coach in the club as well. So I come to you with some credentials. My concern is that when we're giving use of a very privileged resource to these organizations, that they have to be run properly. And it's my belief that the Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club is not being run properly. You can see this for yourself if you go to any of the organizations in the local area. LaGrange, where, in my estimate, 1/3 town of Poughkeepsie residents actually go as an alternative to the town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club, East Fishkill, Beekman. They're all run in a superior manner to the town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club. You can go there, you can see it any given night.
Well, could you give me some specifics? I mean, instead of me
Yes.
going there, how about
Yeah.
telling me what the difference is?
I intend to go through that. So one of the things you could do is you can stop down and talk to our travel coaches. The reason you need to talk to a travel coach is someone that goes from one club to another. They see the differences. They understand. They've been with the club for a while. They know the pitfalls. So some of the examples are coaches have long reported hazardous conditions. The town graciously fixed the fence lately. That hazardous condition was not reported by the town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club board. It was reported by myself. Todd was there at the meeting where I reported it to him. It was fixed almost immediately after that. But the board did nothing for years, even though fence poles were hanging out in hazardous conditions where children could have been potentially hurt. The town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club has been cited by the league for having sprinkler heads sticking out of the fields that players can trip over. For going on 2 years now, nothing has been done, to the best of my knowledge. Other things, we have goal frames down there that don't have proper stakes going into the ground, that fall over a stiff wind comes and they fall over with children running around. These are seriously hazardous conditions that the board is unaware of, largely because they are often not even going to the field on a regular basis.
Don't the referees have to make sure the field is in proper playing condition?
The referees are responsible for that. The frames that I'm talking about now are practice frames, and they wouldn't fall under the auspice of the referee.
Okay, but the games themselves, as they go on, the referees are saying the fields are playable, that there's no errors on our part?
In the past, we've often had to fix fields prior to games. A lot of our goal frames, quite frankly, have been damaged by the landscaping crews, but all this has been brought to the board's attention, and frankly, little has been done.
Yeah, but if our landscaping crews are doing the damages, why is no one notifying the town?
Well, because we don't have video proof that they did it.
Okay.
So, for example, if a landscaper, rather than if they have to cut under a goal, they'll take the lawn cutting equipment in the past, and I've actually seen it, they'll push the goal frame out of the way. All right, and if you can imagine a big rectangle like that being pushed from one direction, right, it can do a lot of damage. Now, things have changed a little bit. The goals are now anchored, all right, so that they don't fall over. But if you go down and inspect those goal frames yourself, you'll see that a lot of them have been severely damaged.
Now, you're a coach in this league?
I am, yes.
Okay, and you're currently a coach, and you've been for 15 years?
Correct.
And have you ever been on the board?
I have been on the board. I was a board member for a year.
Okay, just 1 year?
Correct.
Okay, and you're not any longer?
I stepped down from the board when I had differences with the board about the position I had. I was making decisions within the definition of my role, and I was being overruled by the club's president, and I felt an inappropriate manner and a hazardous manner to children that were playing in the travel portion of the program.
I'm just curious, how come there's no parents here with you tonight? So if kids are in danger, why are no parents coming to us and letting us know?
Well, so by and large, parents are unaware that this is happening. In the past, on 2 occasions, I brought the board to the field, and there have been a fair number of parents there. But as I mentioned earlier, many of our residents go around the issue rather than confront it. It's just easier to drive to LaGrange, and LaGrange is beautiful. If you've never been to LaGrange's fields at Stringham, you should go, and then compare it to what we have at Greenvale. It's a shock.
Now, do you have a list of all the things that need to be repaired on the field?
One could be put together. This is things that have been neglected. This is years and years of abuse.
Well, if there's safety issues, I'd like to know what they are. So if you
Okay. Well, some of these have been reported to Todd.
Probably get Tom
and-
Myring involved in it.
Tom's
I'd like to
here. I mean, I think it's going to be important to, Tom's here, and I think there's other members of the club. Often times, the town's mode of operation with our youth clubs, to let the youth clubs kind of govern themselves. These licensing agreements are important, and one of the most important things they provide is that the clubs, at its own cost and expense, are conduct criminal background checks for all the volunteers, board members, managers, coaches, assistant coaches, and staff.
Right, that's done at a league basis.
One of the main
on a league level.
reasons,
For this.
in my opinion, we have these license agreements, but beyond that, whether it's Little League, soccer, girls softball, we leave the governance of those, boards
Right.
and operations to parents, who I think are probably best positioned to operate them, and they have league presidents and vice presidents and so on and so forth. And every now and then, every year or two, we usually have an internal disagreement among one of the leagues, whether it used to be a lot
I know
of
we've had-
Little League a lot,
I
but
know if Little League, in the past, Little League came to us and said they needed something for the field fixed or what have you, if it's something that we could do, we've helped out, but for the most of the part, the expense has always been, as Todd said, on the club itself.
Right.
We have given some money for dirt and fields renovations.
And that's happened with the
did
soccer club
sprinkler
as
system a little
well.
bit.
yeah, the soccer club in the town of Sheridan, I can think over the last probably 5 or 6 years, we've put irrigation in the fields.
Right.
We've paved that lower parking lot, which for years was
Yeah.
like a rumble strip. And just recently, as Jim said, last year,
Right.
we took out the metal fence and put poster
And
rail
talking about
fencing in.
paving the parking lot, it wasn't the board that came to you on that, Todd. You were my council person at that
yep.
time. It was me that came to you.
Yep.
Right? So paving the parking lot, that was me. The fence up, that was me. All right? So the board clearly, go down and look at that. That's two of the major aspects of that facility down there, right? Those repairs that have been done over the last, 10 or so years.
Jim, I can tell you that I played on that field maybe 10 years ago. I don't want to tell the date. But what it looks today and was 10 years ago, like Todd said, there was all broken glass there. Everybody was using the field. The field was not playable. It was dry grass.
The broken glass was from road scrapings that were being dumped down at the
Right.
field, which was
and the garbage,
unfortunate.
and there was anyone could use that at the time. Anyone could use that the soccer field. There was no regulation in the field. But one of the comment that I understand your concern is that I think all the coaches should get together and include it with the parents and just maybe present it to the board, because I understand you guys also bring teams from the outside, Westchester, Long Island, and stuff like that, which is a big event that I understand that is there. So if you have those concerns, I think the board should be, coaches should be more involved in that. And
So what happens with the Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club, if you have a disagreement with the board, they turn around and it becomes a witch hunt and they sanction you. All right? And I can tell you that several players, Andy Stamper, myself, we've all been sanctioned. All right? And when they sanction you, they tell you stuff like you're not allowed to go to a town park, right, which is well outside their auspice.
But you are legally, you're licensed as a coach, right?
I am licensed as a coach, correct?
Right. You could complain to the league, to the major league. I believe it's called New York State Soccer League Association.
They're not really, right? So we could complain, but you would have to have something with it that's violating the agreement with the league, and it can't be that. Like for example, the sprinkler heads would be good, where they were cited for that, and then nothing's been done over 2 years. The problem is the league is not tracking that stuff to the point where it's useful.
And one of the things that I'm concerned too, that we need to maybe look into this better, because there is a lot of money coming in, usually September, Columbus Day, right? Columbus weekend.
Correct.
There's about, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe September, October, there's a tournament, at least about 50 teams, which generates quite a bit of new money into the town. So
Well, it's not into the town. That money is paid to the
Into the
league.
club.
for the club.
Not the league,
But what
it's
I'm
into
saying
the
is,
club.
but restaurants benefit.
Right, oh, yeah, I agree.
No.
I hear you there, yeah.
Any type of business, and even a hotel in the area. So It's like Mr. Safone said, I will take those concerns that you have in writing and see if we can.
Well, there's more. There's flagrant violations of their constitution, right? They're violating IRS guidelines. Oh, IRS regulations, not guidelines.
Yeah, but we can't get involved into the board.
Well,
It's
but
an internal.
they have a
internal thing.
constitution,
Yeah.
and their constitution should be filed with you as part of the process of getting used to the fields. And these are federal requirements that non-profits have to follow, and they're violating those.
Mr. Ryan, what are you asking of this board?
I'm
tonight?
asking tonight, what I'm asking is a review of the Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club, how it conducts business, and why the club is in the situation that it's in.
Do you understand that that's really out of the scope?
Well,
this board?
So, it's
We
not
can
out of the
vote or
scope.
not vote on giving them the license,
For field use.
Right.
but we don't have the authority or the power to investigate a private company or private soccer club.
They're getting a monopoly of your fields, which is a privilege, of my fields as a town taxpayer.
Okay,
And
I
if
understand
they're
that
not
point,
providing
but,
appropriate value, then you shouldn't give them that license.
okay, so your position then, if I'm understanding this right, is you don't think we should approve this license
Correct.
for the young people to play soccer on that field?
It should be reviewed, and then appropriate action should be taken.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, come on up.
Want to speak, sir?
Yeah, you just have to come to the microphone.
Jim, I don't necessarily
so
want
we
to
can get
stop
you
the
in
kids
there.
from playing soccer, but I would
Get you in
like
there.
to know about any safety concerns. though.
Michael, you're talking to a guy that's been on the field with kids for 15 years. I've trained and coached probably almost 40 different teams, and no one wants anything to happen more like I do. But we just can't, because of that, we just can't keep going the way we're going. That can't happen.
Sure, go ahead.
If I may address, my name is Joe Carucci. I am president of the Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club. I know Supervisor Tancredi knows me. I've been involved with as a board member for 8 years. I have been president for 5 years of the club. Everything Mr. Ryan has said here tonight, I categorically disagree with. The fields, and some of you have been down at the fields, and as one council person said, the fields, how they are today, are dramatically better than they were 10 years ago. And in fact, I would say today they are even better than Stringham and than Stringham Park. I'm a soccer referee. I'm pretty much at Stringham Park every weekend. Our fields are much better.
Good.
We have the sprinkler system in. That was paid, the pumps that were in there were paid from the town, and the booster pump that is in there was paid from the town. The soccer club spent $30,000 of its own money to irrigate, to put all the lines in for irrigation. The town pays for fertilization of the irrigated portion. The club pays $5,000 out of its money for the non-irrigated portion. All of the goalposts that are down there are the property of the Town of Poughkeepsie Soccer Club. We have purchased those. All of those goals were anchored according to, there's a new New York state law that's, I believe will be going into effect soon, that goals on grass fields are required to be anchored. We have already taken care of that, and Tom has done that. The issues here is part how the club is being run, and Mr. Ryan has, in my view, defamed the club. All deals with personality conflicts between Mr. Ryan and members of our club. Right now, today, we have 611 children in our intramural program. We have 250 in our travel program. That's almost 900 kids playing soccer on a Saturday and a Sunday. We concluded a board meeting last night. We currently have 11 travel teams. We are actually, through our intramural program, we are adding 4 new travel teams. So we should have anywhere from 16 to 17 travel teams starting in September, which is a huge improvement, mostly in the lower age groups, the U9s, U11s. So they will be with our club for a number of years. Mr. Ryan and the club have had disagreements very recently, and all of this was brought about because the board properly, and I would disagree with Mr. Ryan, but properly, according to its constitution, suspended Mr. Ryan from all coaching activities including attending practices, and he has violated what the board has said. So as far as the field use agreement, we've had it in place for a number of years. This is just a renewal. I see no reason why the board should deny that. We provide a program to over close to 900 kids. So
Is
that,
Mr. Ryan still allowed to coach if he was
No.
suspended?
he is suspended.
So, Mr. Ryan, why, if you suspended, it seems to me that there is some kind of,
No, so he alleges that I'm suspended. As Todd is aware, I brought to the town's attention that they haven't followed proper guidelines. And if it's very easy for us to take a look at what Joe is talking about and see if it holds water or not. Ask the town attorney to review the Constitution and go through the policy and see who's right, Joe or myself.
I mean, to me, I don't see that. I think, I think you guys need to get together and solve some of the issue and for the better of the children and the players, like you said.
Well, the coaches work
We
for
need
the
to have a
children.
better
The
national
board-
team, so I think you guys need to get
The board
together.
works for itself.
I appreciate, both of your strong passion and interest in soccer and particularly youth soccer in our community. One of the things we have on this board are different committees, and one of our committees is the rec committee. So this is certainly something the rec committee could look into more carefully. Who's the chair of the rec committee, Jay?
Jay, yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm on the
Jay,
committee.
Joe's on it, and
I'm on
Ann.
it.
So,
Yeah.
the rec committee can take a closer look. I would agree with Councilman Lepore. I think these agreements are important. For one of the reasons I stated earlier, but I certainly wouldn't want to hold up the field use agreements, but it is, the other, especially, any safety issues and things like that with our fields, can certainly, Jim, you can bring those things forward to our rec department. They can meet with the rec committee, and we can make evaluations and make those changes, and also the other issues that you're
completely
concerned
understand,
about.
Todd, but why do I have to go directly to you to get a fence fix? Why can't I bring it up to the board and have the board bring it forward?
I don't know, but the important part is, as far as I'm concerned, is that we got it fixed. We've always, as I said, I know there's internal struggles sometimes among these youth leagues, and we've experienced them over the years, but we really make a concerted effort to let the parents kind of manage the leagues and within, I think, reason, let them be the ones who hire their presidents and vice presidents and hold the elections and really run the leagues, because we think that's the way it works best. So, we won't just turn a blind eye to any serious issues that might, come up. But for the most part, I'd like you to, I think it's important to work through the rec committee and
Happy to do that.
we'll try to address the issues.
And we can look at, as a committee member, we can maybe take a look with Tom at the field and
Sure,
look at
yeah.
the sprinkler system, the post,
I'm happy to meet you down there every night and show you some of these things.
all due respect, Mr. Ryan, as this gentleman said, you have 900 kids that play soccer.
Yeah.
Where,
And we've heard nothing but positive things from the soccer. Just remember-
and I'm sure you have some concern. I think this is an internal
Doc.
thing, so that I think you need to work it out with the board members.
If I can just, three quick things. We have monthly board meetings,
I know
that
Tom
everyone-
Myring attends.
Tom attends every meeting,
Some, yeah.
so whenever there are safety issues that are brought up, they're brought up to Tom, and they're addressed. And our board meetings are open to everybody, so it's not like we have
When
it
do you
in
have
closed
board
session.
meetings?
It's we have it the third Tuesday of every month. It starts at 7 PM, and we hold it at the senior center.
Wonderful.
We also have one of our coaches, one of our coaches is Stefan Krakauer. He's been involved with the club for a number of years as well. So he obviously enjoys it. And if there were really, really safety issues, I mean, he was a council person when he was a coach. I would have figured if there were really serious safety issues, he would have brought it to your attention really quick. And we also have the son of the former county executive, Steinhaus. His son is also a coach in our club. And again, if there were safety issues, I think you probably all would have heard about it by now.
But your meetings, as you said, are open to the public. They're the
Absolutely.
second Tuesday?
Third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday of
Yep.
every month at our Town of
Senior
Poughkeepsie Senior Center.
7 o'clock.
Okay,
Wonderful.
good.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate both of you being here tonight. As I said, our community's, I think, better because you're both active with our youth, and hopefully these differences can be ironed out, and, we can all continue to work with the
I'm
children.
looking forward to the rec committee's review of their, so I assume you're going to get in contact with me, or how's that going to work?
Well, we're going to need some, I guess working through Tom Myring, some issues that he
Schedule
thinks
board.
are worthwhile for us to review. And then usually he conducts the rec meetings, he schedules those meetings, and it's 3 members of the town board on each one of these committees, and they work kind of independent until they have a resolution to be taken up by the entire town board, for either just discussion or approval or changes of our rules and regulations. All right?
Just a question, can I ask Tom a question?
Yeah, of course.
Tom, quick, we have it.
Sorry, come on up. And if he says anything, I just want to get it. He's not on tape. If he's not speaking in the microphone.
Have we had any complaints from the referee association about the field, about safety and things like that? Have you had anything in writing? from
Not
them?
that's
Okay.
come to me in writing.
Okay,
Right,
thank you.
so there have been, but they haven't made it to Tom. That was my point.
Okay, well, if there are any,
Yeah.
bring them forward.
I'll bring them
We'll
forward.
take a serious look at them.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate all of you being here.
If I can just
Sure,
respond
come on
to
up.
Councilman LaPorte. Not only am I also a soccer referee, I'm a soccer referee instructor, and I'm also on the
It's a conflict.
Well, yeah, and I'm on the Hudson Valley Soccer Referee Association board as well too. So I could tell you that the safety issues that Mr. Ryan is saying exist do not exist. They don't.
Thank you.
We have referees down there, very qualified, and if there were any, it would have been brought to my attention as president of the club.
All right, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so in relation to resolution number 13, we have a motion and a second. Anything else?
Who's second? I'm sorry, I lost track.
Joe Conti.
Second on that was Joe.
All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. All right, why don't I read 14, because I lost track.
I think Joe actually read, right?
Be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby approved the referral of the Friendly Honda project application for highway business district designation to Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board for a recommendation pursuant to Town Code Section 210-154, and hereby consents to the designation of the Planning Board as lead agency for the seeker review of said project. So moved.
Second?
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Bill?
Resolution 15, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the referral of the One Page Park Texas Roadhouse Project application for highway business, BH, district designation to the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board for a recommendation pursuant to Town Code 210-154, and hereby consents to the designation of the Planning Board as lead agency for the seeker review of said project. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. 16, we're going to take up on the June table till June 3rd.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
17?
Yeah.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the minutes for the following 2015 Town Board meetings, to wit, March 4, 2015 regular Town Board meeting, March 11, 2015 Committee of the Whole, March 18, 2015 regular Town Board meeting, April 1st, 2015 regular Town Board meeting. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items, to wit, 1, authorize supervisor to sign Springside Neighborhood Development documents, and 2, consent to Planning Board Lead Agency 1 Easy Street. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the Town Board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion?
That Easy Street, isn't that the Honda
That's-
project?
Yes,
It's the same project, right?
yes. rezone, yeah.
Where do I get the longest one?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Where are we, Mike?
C1.
I see one.
I got it. Yep. Oh, Mike?
Microphone.
All right, I'll read this one too. Be it resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the stormwater maintenance easement in regard to the project known as Springside Development. Be it further resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign the stormwater management facility inspection and maintenance agreement, sidewalk, curb, and parking space maintenance agreement, and license agreement to construct and maintain facilities in the right-of-way, and any supporting recording documents in regard to the Springside Neighborhood Development Project. And be it further resolved that such acceptance and authorization by the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie is subject to the approval of all final documents by the Town Attorney, Planning Board Attorney, Town Engineer, and Director of Municipal Development for the Town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Joe, number 2.
Yep. Be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby consent the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board acting as seeker lead agency for the project known as 1 Easy Street, Dutchess Turnpike rezoning 1165, 1167, and 1171. Dutchess Turnpike and 13 Easy Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, tax parcel number 6362-01-178705, 186-712, 193, 719, 164, 715, and 157718. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our regular agenda. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for public comment on town issues.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone here who'd like to address the board?
Seeing none.
He's
May 15th was National Police Memorial Day. And that's the day when there's a ceremony in Washington at the wall where they add the names of the police officers that were killed in the preceding year. That day was initially done by President Kennedy all those years ago. And considering the state that currently existing in our country, I think everybody has to understand that the men and women whose name is on that wall and the new ones that went on serve us. They put their life on the line for us every day, every minute of every day. And I know that there's a vast majority of people in this country that understand that and thank that. But I wanted to take a minute to publicly put it on the record. And I know how my contemporaries here on the board feel about this issue.
Thank you, Bill. We do have an executive session
I got to read something?
item, so
Do you,
Executive session, I got to do it. Read it.
yeah, I'm writing.
if you want to just,
Okay.
instead of writing it, just say it and we'll just move it. That's fine.
Okay.
Makes it easier.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider the following matter, to wit, confidential communications between the attorney and his client and the Town Board based on attorney-client privilege, and to address matters of public safety and security.
So moved.
Second? Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Town Board adjourns to executive session at 8:08 PM.